Hello, welcome to Jadekind Gaming. My name is Adam, and today I will be unboxing some terrain trays and terrain tray accessories from Dwarven Forge, specifically from their Caverns Deep line. I have the terrain tray 12x12 hazard pack, which is 5 terrain trays, each double-sided, containing all the different layouts from of different hazards from the Caverns that they did. And I also have the overlay mega pack, which has things to put on top of those terrain trays. So logically, start with the terrain trays so I have something to put the stuff on top of. And this is heavy. Their terrain trays are metal, and that's how the magnets stick to them. But also means heavy. Pull out of the bag. You're welcome. Alright, so this first one, I have a number of. Also, because I'll need it for some of the hazards I have smaller sizes of. But from some other sets that I've gotten previously, I have the the running water and the murky cave water. And I have used them a bunch, so I'm not really upset to have another one. All the other ones, I believe, are new to me. So this is necrotic sludge. It's got bubbles and definite swirls, almost like Starry Night kind of swirls in it. But yeah, some necrotic sludge could be just sort of like a bubbling tar or something akin to that. And on the back of it is bottomless pit, which could just, depending on how you weave it, could just be black. But if you have it where you see parts of this, it gives you sort of an idea that there's little bits fading off into the distance along the edges there. And it has nothing on these sides in case you wanted to make a bottomless chasm with multiple of them in a row. But I don't know if I'll use it, but it's an option. This, I believe, would be quicksand. Which looks really gross. But it's bubbling and just sort of coagulated. But a big bunch of goop. And then sort of a stone texture, just sort of, rough terrain or whatever it may need to be. There's no, at least as far as my brain can parse, there's not like spaces in the way that this is laid out. It's just a stone texture, no hidden grid like on some of their 3D pieces. This is one of the ones I was really excited for. Oh, okay. So this is ice, and you can sort of see what happens when I do this. If you see what happens when I do this, it has a real sheen to it. That is pretty. The ice caverns is something I look forward to eventually picking up. So this was a cool one to grab. And on the back of it is cracked ice. So ice that is breaking if you want a little more hazardous environment, also having that same sheen. Now behind this one, you can see something, can't you? This is another one I was excited. This is not one that I necessarily want more than one of. So this may be good, but this is a festering pit, a pit of gibbering mouther. Just this aberration sludge of mouths, teeth, eyes, etc. There's an eye in that mouth, in that one. There's mouths upon mouths here. ooh, gross. But if you're having your players go over this, they don't want to fall in because, yikes. And on the back of it is one that probably would be more useful to have duplicate. Matches this rough terrain cavernous bit with sludge pools. But yeah, so we have those 5 terrain trays. And now we get over to the Overlay Mega Pack. It has a bunch of stuff in it. And it's very floppy. And very awkward. You're quite welcome. Okay, so. Sure, let's start with lots of stuff. Is everything individually bagged or something? Okay, whatever. Each of these tape, bag. This one has 2 of these. And these ones are the reason I have these smaller ones out here. They fit on there to add a current. The immediate thing I notice is that they are slightly bigger than the actual metal, but not as big as the actual fabric. And these are, I mean, they've got some heft to them there. I don't know if there's one right way or wrong way to put them on, or if it's just 2 different options. But yeah, so there are currents there. We got 2 of these current ones here to add a current to this 6x6 terrain tray, and it looks like we have 2 more sets each, so 2 of this one. So this one kind of, gives a bit of a, it looks like it's going from this way to this way. It's turning, much like the first one we look like on here. It looks like it's turning. And then there are also 2 of these that look like they're going straight. So there are both straight and turning currents for both the 4x8 and the 6x6 terrain trays. And so I'm guessing we're going to get the same sort of thing here on the big ones. So just getting through all these water currents first. And yeah, there's like 2 of each option. So, big one for like nothing over in this corner where it's turning from, but definitely for turning, going from here to here. Okay. And this is better sized. So the big ones, this one is actually the full size of the actual neoprene colored part on here. So this is not undersized for this one. And of course we get the straight current for that. And I guess you can do it with this as well if you need. Although definitely feels like it's designed for this one here. To me at least. We have all these fancy ones, but we will look at those in a bit. First, take a look at some of these. So, when they started doing Wildlands, we got some options for gridded terrain trays. But here, 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 12x12. This gridded terrain tray. Four of this one. And these are different. to come off. Ooh. Some of these have, it looks like, a film on them. Others don't seem to. I don't know. But that I'll remove. Let's continue to use this to share these. Actually, it looks like this has it too. It's just on the other side. Let me take that off. So here, again, full size of the actual neoprene. If anything, maybe a little bigger. Is this color here, or we have this. And so this one is kind of a gray, and this one is black. So let's say we're trying to put it in here. This one here. And you can tell how much darker this one is, but both seem to just work. I guess this is blends in a little more if you don't want it to stand out so much. Yeah, it's just two different colors, and there's 4 each for the different different grids, to add grids where there are not grids. Furthermore, we got grids for the 6x6 and the 4x8. And it looks like they are the black, so the darker grid. Huh. So this layer that peels off, it didn't do it on the other ones, but on this one it looks like it was printed, like the grid was printed on the plastic instead of... Which also means it just rubs away. Like right here, peels away and... Okay, so this one was just misprinted, I guess? The plastic... I do not know. Oh well. And now we get to these other ones that are exciting. These are ones I'd be upset if I lost one of to peeling plastic. So these are whirlpools. So I was a little more careful in looking at it to make sure as I peeled off the plastic, it didn't... So only one of them had that issue. But there's a plastic layer on here, and then the thick part, the real part, is what keeps the design. But yeah, here you can just add wherever you want a whirlpool to your water. So that, and it has like sort of it blends out at the edges, so it kind of transitions onto the mat itself. Grab, say, these. I'm going to just be careful getting this off. So at this point I've accepted there's plastic on all of these. I'm sure. Oh, maybe not the water. Nope. I found it took me a bit. But yeah, putting, say, the water ones that peel off, which gives it a little more sheen compared to when the plastic is still on it, but for the most part, it looks the same. Anyways, onto these. See, it's like, what is the point of this necrotic sludge bit? It doesn't really, like, add extra spinning, but it allows you to have little bits of necrotic sludge on other terrain. So before they get to the big area of it, there's just small sections that are in other areas. Likewise, we have they call quicksand. Oh, here's one with an edge. Alright, so I've only had one that was messed up. Has me paranoid. So you can have a little bubbling bit of quicksand here. Alright, this doesn't do a huge amount when you're just adding it onto existing quicksand. Although if you wanted to add some extra bubbles in it, I guess, it kind of changes some things, but still the same general idea. Again, just fading off on the edges so that you can add the quicksand wherever you would like. Then we get our last couple here, which are both ice related. And each of these you have 2 of. Okay, we're safe to pull this one off. Maybe that one. There we go. So, I still have a bunch of them with some plastic on it, and I will be careful pulling them off. I'm sure Dwarven Forge will replace the one that it was misprinted if I send them a message. I don't know if I will bother, because again, that was one of the small ones. So there is the cracked side here of ice, but you can use the normal side and add a crack or a fully broken open area. You can even have it where they're walking along and you can throw out a crack because they misstepped. They did bad on a check, and now this area is more difficult to walk on because it's cracked. And then if they fail again, they fall through, and you put this on and it and it breaks open. You can do some options with getting these 2 even to line up with certain cracks from the edges here along there by essentially doing that, but it just blends in on the ice. But yeah, so these ones, because these can just be thrown out mid-gameplay like, oh, this ice is breaking, are particularly exciting for me. Also because I want to get into some ice stuff because ice is pretty. But yeah, that's gives me a whole bunch of different terrain tray options, which, as their surface layer scenery, there are things that I do where you leave, holes in a build open to see what's beneath. That can be fun. That can be interesting. And then you also have all these things if you need to add grid, if, you're like if you're going to be walking over the ice, it might work well to add the grid on top of it to facilitate movement, and then you can throw the cracks on in addition to that. Number of options, of course. Slight warning with possible printing errors, but mostly cool stuff. I'll link down to Dwarven Forge's website down below where you can pick up these. I got like the big sets, but they have sets if you just want to get the grids or just want to get the water flowing or the hazards. Those are options. Or a lot of the terrain trays, they have single terrain trays where you can just get the one you need, or get them in, some of them in smaller sizes, the 4x8 and the 6x6, with the same textures, the same patterns that are on the other ones. They got all sorts of options, and they come and go because it's Dwarven Forge's website, so it's never like everything's in stock at once. There are lots of cool options for it, and I pick stuff up just to have a whole bunch more variety of options. Of course, like, comment, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Bye.